Okay, let's look at the data sheets for lab number 8, anaerobic power and capacity. That starts on page 61 of your lab manual. Looking at that, start with the Wingate down at the bottom. Go to page 62, under procedure. Sam's weight, 78.7 kilograms. Okay, multiply that by 0.075, we get our workload for the Wingate test, which is 5.91 kgm. If you go over to page 63, you're going to see what Sam's number of revolutions were as he did the Wingate test, which is the 30-second cycle test. So we need to work through all these calculations on the data sheet. You'll see up at the top that I have number of total revolutions that happen each 10-second interval, and in parentheses we want to know, that's what we want to know. We want to know the revolutions per 10-second interval. We don't want to know the total revolutions at that time. So in the first 5-second interval there were 10 revolutions of the cycle. The next 10-second or 5-second interval there was 9. The next 5-second interval from 10 to 15 seconds there was 8. The next one from 15 to 20 seconds there was 8. The next one from 20 to 25 seconds there was 7. And the final one from 25 to 30 seconds there was 6, for a total of 48 revolutions in 30 seconds. Taking that data, we can calculate. So look down below there. Number 1 says calculate work output for each of the 6 5-second periods. I did the first one for you, so you can go through and use that as a guide when you're calculating the rest of the 5-second intervals. So your work output equals revolutions times 6 meters times kgm times 12 seconds. 6 meters is a distance that's covered per revolution. That's why we use 6 meters. Over that, or put that over the body weight, or divide by body weight in kilograms. So you'll see the work output for 0 to 5 seconds was 54.07 kgm per minute per kg. We did that by multiplying 10 revolutions, which we found up above, times 6 meters, which is given, times the kgm, which we calculated on page 62, which is 5.91, so that won't change, times 12, because 12 times 5 equals 60 seconds. We want to normalize that to a minute. We divide by Sam's body mass, or body weight in kilograms, which is 78.7. So you're going to do that for each of those 6 5-second intervals. Then you're going to go down below and it says peak anaerobic power. That's going to be the highest number you get of those 6 5-second intervals. So the highest number is your peak anaerobic power. You need to convert that at the bottom to watts per kilogram. And all you're going to do that is take your peak and divide by 6.12 kgm per minute. That will give you watts per kilogram. Flip over to page 64. On page 64, you're going to calculate anaerobic capacity. It gives you the equation. So, gives you the equation, that's for the entire 30 seconds, so total revolutions times 6 times kgm times 2, 30 seconds times 2 is 60 seconds, divided by body weight. So we get anaerobic capacity from the Wingate test. That's what we were after. Now you need to convert that to watts per kilogram, just how it says to. Then, in addition, the total power output can be calculated in joules per kilogram per minute. Do that calculation as well. Joules per kilogram must be divided by 2 in order to account for the 30 seconds. Do that calculation as well. And then on number 3, calculate your fatigue index. We've done that once already. You need to do that again. So maximum kgm per minute per kg minus the minimum over the time of the maximum minus the time of the minimum. And for the time, use 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Those are the times that you're going to use when you're doing the denominator there for your fatigue index. Calculate that, give me your slope. Next one, if you flip over to page 67, again I gave you this data, you need to put this in. So for the Margarita-Kalaman step test, Sam's weight did not change, 78.7 kilograms. The distance does not change. The vertical distance is 1.05 meters, and then Sam did 3 trials, and those trials are listed, so you need to calculate power output for each of those trials. Based on that power output, if you want, you can go to page 68 and look at classification for the Margarita-Kalaman step test and kind of see where Sam would fit in with those people listed, or those populations listed on page 68. So you're going to need to scan and send in page 67, page 64, page 63. All those need to come to me along with doing your questions that are under assignments for Lab 8.